Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be driving a supercar for the first ever time. I've never driven one before. I'm really excited, and I've been entrusted with this beautiful example behind me, which is the Audi R8. It's the V10 rear-wheel drive version. It's 5.2 litre engine. It's pushing 532 brake horsepower and 540 Newton meters of torque. So it's quite a punchy car to be taken out for the first time, but I'm so looking forward to it. We're going to jump in the driver's seat, we'll have a little look around, and you guys can come and see what it's like to drive a supercar for the first ever time. First ever time driving a supercar. I've never driven one before, and I've been lucky enough to be given the opportunity to take this one out for a drive, which is incredible. And yeah, I'm not too sure what to expect from it, to be honest. I've always thought supercars are, I'll be honest with you, way out of my league. I never thought I'd be able to get the opportunity to actually sit in one, let alone be given one to actually take out for a drive. It's paddle shift, it's automatic. This is the Audi R8. It's a 5.2 litre engine. It's the V10, as well as it's got 532 brake horsepower, 540 Newton meters of torque. So it's quite a punchy car in that sense. Now you've got to bear in mind as well, I'm only 5'1". I'm very short, so one thing that I've always kind of been concerned about when it comes to driving these cars is, am I going to be able to reach the pedals? Because I've had that issue with a few other, especially mostly track-based cars. That's kind of what I normally drive. So whereby there always fixed bucket seats. So yeah, if anyone is a small individual, whether you're male or female, just to let you know, it quite comfortably will probably have someone sit at about 4'10". I've got loads of room. This goes a lot further forwards than what I actually need it to. But first initial impressions of the actual car itself, it's to just get in and drive. It's nice, it's simple. I actually kind of almost forget that I'm driving a supercar. I really forget. I forget this is what I'm driving, and it's very pleasant to drive. It's really pleasant to drive. There is no kind of, there's nothing unsettling about it. I haven't really had a chance to sort of kick it through the gears just yet, so we'll sort of see what it's like once we sort of get the rev range going a bit more. But yeah, just as an everyday driver, it's very pleasant. It's quite nice. It's not too in your face to drive. It doesn't feel like it's going to run away with me, which is always good. It's planted to the road. It's pretty precise when it comes to the steering, which is brilliant as well. So first impressions so far, all good. I like it. Right, we've got a nice bit of stretch of road. So I've currently got it in auto. Let's see if we can whack it in. So now I've got it in manual mode. We're currently in 7th gear. Let's drop it down. Obviously you can do your manual from either the actual gear shifter here, or you've also got the 2 paddle shifts on the back of the steering wheel. So let's drop it down to 3rd and see what it does. Oh my, yes. Brilliant, amazing. Now the one thing that I find with the paddle shift in this, again, it's a real minority. I'm small, I've got small hands. So the only thing I find is I probably need extensions for the actual paddle shifts, because at the moment I'm literally only being able to grasp them quite literally from my fingertips. It's enough to obviously get a grasp on it, but it would be nice to have a bit of an extension on it, so I'm not necessarily trying to worry about grasping the steering wheel, and I can actually use this properly. Let's drop it down again. Yeah, it feels brilliant. This is a nice bit of country road. Just listening to that engine at the back. That beautiful sound of the V10. Now this does actually have another mode as well. It's got a sport mode in it. It's not terrifying. I feel like you'd really have to try hard to get this to frighten you. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I quite like that it's nice, it's pleasant, it's very pleasant. especially for my first time driving a supercar as well. I don't think I'd want something too frightening. I think I'd be put off for the rest of my life. I'm joking, I don't think I would at all. Let's do this once more, shall we? That sounds incredible. And now it really kicks in at about 5-6k. It's a naturally aspirated engine, so you're going to need the higher rev range in it to kind of get the kick, to get that sort of boost coming through. So it's got to be sitting in at really sort of around about the 6,000-7,000 RPM. It's really nice driving through the corners as well. Again, it's kind of slightly damp roads. I don't want to go too wild with it. And it's a rear wheel drive, so I don't particularly fancy going sideways into a hedge in my first ever experience. But I do really like the manual mode though. The paddle shift is it's phenomenal. It's really cool. And in terms of the actual interior, so to sit in from a driving point of view, there's not really a lot going on in the interior. It's quite simple in that sense. There's no carbon in here. You've got perforated leather steering wheel. It feels nice. It's small. I quite like the smaller steering wheel in this. The actual interior itself, you can get an upholstered version for this, but this seems to be quite sort of a simple spec. It's almost like it's got sort of just a sort of plain simple textured vinyl covering throughout the dash on here. There's no center console computer or screen in the middle, but I quite like that. I quite like that it is pretty much, it's designed for you to be able to do everything from the dash and panel in front of you, which I quite like. Sometimes I find with a lot of these newer cars is that when you're trying to focus on driving, you're constantly reaching over, trying to faff about with the center console and the screen on it, and everything's just got so high tech now that I do actually quite like that everything is just here and in front of you, and you can actually change the view buttons on this dash. So you can then end up, I've got sat nav in front of me at the moment. I've got two little digital sort of analog clocks. One's telling me for the gears and one's telling me for the speed limit that I'm doing. Also, of course, the RPM as well. You know, I like that there's not too much on it. It's a driving car. It's here to be driven. It's not here for the sheer luxury. And that comes to my conclusion for my first ever supercar driving experience. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you guys are wondering what it's like to drive a supercar, get yourselves out in one, have a go, and it's not as terrifying as you think. Maybe I just haven't driven the right car yet, or just driven it in the right environment. I think that's going to be the next step. Can we get one of these in an environment whereby we can push the limits and see what my capability of driving is like, but also what the car is really capable of doing? Can it terrify me? I think it could. But as always, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know what to do. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you don't like it. But do drop some comments in below. I'd love to hear what kind of cars you like to drive. If you've ever driven a supercar before, what your thoughts were on it, drop those comments in below. And as always, guys, please do hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you soon. See ya.